All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Rally Round Robin Table training. Come on in. No, you're totally fine. I bet you all were screaming and partying last night at the One Direction concert just like me.
Oh, you know it.
So, hey, you know. Okay. So, in short, this structure is extremely awesome. Cooperative learning structure. And if you really, if you want to know something that the kids participate in and work together, this is like the perfect place to start. And it really is taking turns, which I know that doesn't sound like revolutionary or anything different, but it's so systematic that you don't have hogs and logs. You don't have your certain kids talking all the time and your certain kids quiet all the time. So here's a little definition of those fun terms, and I gave you some cheat sheets. I hung these up in my room kind of by my desk, so it was a cheat sheet for me, and the kids could see them, so I made them, gorgeously colorful for you, because I know we like that. Round and robin are kind of the verbs of what the kids do, and round means the whole table, okay? So the first one we're going to do is round robin, for an example. That would mean your whole table or team of 4 when you have a pod. Younger grades, you guys sit at tables, right? So you have your team, or the pod, and everybody on the team shares, and robin means to talk. So like rock and robin, tweet, tweet, tweet. And students take turns sharing information with their teammates. What needs to be expected of the kids is that they take turns and all teammates speak and listen. And this is really important for that team grouping, that you have your high medium, your medium low, and your low if possible, and only with 4. Because for active listening, if there's 6 or 7 kids going around and around robin, your number 6 person is probably tuning out the number 1 person because they're waiting their turn and it's a little bit more time. 4 people is just quick enough for them to go around, and you can have little manipulatives for the kids, so that like talking chips or talking blocks or something, but if this was a table of 4 right here, I would tell my kids, okay, have you guys seen the team mats? If the kids are numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe number 2 starts, 3, you can't speak until number 2 says something, 4, you can't speak until number 3 says something, hence the round. And start the structure so the kids can learn it with something fun. Like we're gonna round robin, we're gonna practice the structure by taking a second to think about everything you can think of that's yellow, and round robin. And then one person goes, you share one thing at a time. Your number 1 person that goes doesn't share everything they know that's yellow, and everybody has to wait. So it does encourage active participation because, in a team of 4, even if I'm the 4th person, I know it's coming to me pretty quick because there's only going to be 3 words said until it's my turn. So that's round robin. And this is what I just already said. See, I'm not turning my slides while I'm talking. You assign your task. Like I said, start with something fun. Start with something they can think about and they can easily say, like have that dump of information. Give them a solo think minute, because once you incorporate some more content, like round robin about everything that you already know about the Grand Canyon or whatever the content is, it might take them a minute to think about it, and that cuts down on a little anxiety when, oh my gosh, it's going to be my turn, or that person took what I was going to say, and they might process a list in their head. When I say, okay, everything, you're going to round robin everything you know that's yellow, I might think of like 5 things, because if I'm number 3, number 1 and number 2 could easily realistically say what I had in my head. And sometimes the round robin will stop, but the kids need time to think, and after a little time to think, then an idea will come. I call it, it's okay to stop and take a solo think second, and really setting a timer like with an odd time of just a short amount of time, so you know, depending on what topic or the task you give them to round robin about, it could be like 1 minute 37 seconds. It could be 4 minutes, something if it's round robins, something you know would go over several times. And they say it orally, nobody's writing. I always make sure that nothing is on their desk so they don't, you know, fiddle or look at things, or somebody's reading while they're, sorry. Things to think about, this is what I tell my kids. Make sure that you are listening politely, respectful listening, active listening. It does take maybe a whole lesson before you round robin anything in content for practice to model what active and polite listening looks like. You guys are all politely listening to me because you're looking at me and you're giving signals, and I know that, you know, you're not like drawing a picture or reading a book to or flipping a pencil around and laughing between. You can give them, you can model a non-example and you can model an example. It depends on, probably for younger kids, you just want to show them this is what it should look like. But polite listening, you don't speak out of turn. Your kids that know a lot about a topic will be like really eager to jump in, especially if somebody's waiting and thinking of something. But you can also, because you know you have your super shy kids, you can give them a right to pass. When I usually start this, I'm not gonna lie, when I tell them, you know, we're gonna practice this structure with things you did over the summer, or your favorite foods, or characters in a movie that you like, I don't tell them about the right to pass. I actually only tell them that once we get into a content, so that if you have a student that's been absent, or you have a student that's really nervous about telling, you know, what they know about plant adaptations, they might freak out. And it's not meant to cause anxiety. It's meant to give equal participation and equal sharing, and everybody has a voice, and everybody, you know, listen, so I can learn one from you. Oh, I didn't think about that. But I do give them a right to pass. If they need more time, if they've, like I said, if they've been absent. And if you get good topics that they can go around and around and around, then they can keep going. I need to go like faster. Okay, rally robin is speaking in pairs. So your rally cheat sheet says pairs, like back and forth, like a ping pong rally. So if you were to give a topic that you just wanted 2 people to go back and forth, you would tell them we're going to do a rally robin. And I look at my cheat sheet still, and I've been doing this for a while because I'm thinking, okay, this is a rally robin. Now we're gonna round robin. And I don't know about other grade levels, but in the 4th grade units of study, in some of the lessons, it suggests do a round robin about this, round robin about that. And you know, they use the lingo of the cooperative structure, but these hopefully helpful cheat sheets will help you understand what that means a little more. Now, round table, just like a round robin, but it's silent. Student makes a contribution by passing 1 paper, 1 pencil, and writing. Table means writing, robin means speaking. It's another turn-taking structure, another spot where you would assign a task. It could still be practice the same way the round robin with something fun, a lot of background knowledge, you know, a task that the kids would know a lot about. But, you know, a lot of times they do this for a list. Like in teams, come up with a list of adjectives in alphabetical order. So, okay, you're gonna go first. Number 4s are starting this time. I always mix it up so the person sitting in the number 1 spot on the team doesn't think they're always gonna go first for the task. But nobody else had, I mean, the whole team doesn't have anything on their desks, but there's 1 paper and 1 pencil out. I assign the task, solo think time. You might even set a timer for that so they know that they have a little time to think about it, and it cuts down on some stress, increases participation. And then you pass the sheet of paper around and the pencil clockwise. When it comes to you, you write an adjective starting with the next letter. So that's just an example. So the first person might write, you know, I can't think of an adjective now that starts with an A.
Amazing.
amazing. Well, I have a nice example. Okay. So then you get the idea. You pass it around, one pencil. Now, you could do a little variation where you don't pass the pen around, but you assign each person on the team a color. We did this, I think, on one of our staff or our faculty, I think, one of our meetings or PD. One paper, but everybody has their own color marker or color pencil, and when they pass it around, then you can evaluate who wrote what to see who's really getting the idea. I like that for the content-related roundtables, because if you pose a question or you pose a task that has to do with your science lesson or has to do with your reading or whatever, maybe you read aloud or something, you want to know who wrote what. Make sure, again, same thing with round robin. Once you get to the content, you could give the students a right to pass. Topics with many rounds work best. That way they don't get turned off by the structure, because they don't get to a stopping point and everybody's like, I can't think of anything else. Then the round table version in pairs is called a rally table. And I use a rally table a lot for like math fact practice. You have this whole sheet of math problems and you rally table with your face partner or shoulder partner. You solve one and you pass. You solve one and you pass. And because it's one at a time, it's also pretty quick, so you don't have one person kind of disengaging while that one person is solving, so you wouldn't have like a whole performance task to solve and then move to the next person. And back and forth, it should be quick. Write a spelling word and pass, or we did, when we practiced, we did a rally table back and forth about superheroes, name a superhero. And, you know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and they kept going back and forth just to practice the structure. And the only thing is, table means to write. So you have your paper, they're writing, could be two different colors, could be one, pass back and forth. That's up to you, that's up to variation. Okay, so when you're working in partners or when you're working in teams, whether it's a rally or a round, I always tell my students that, you know, you might have a team member that gets stuck. You might have a team member that's been absent. The point of this is for them to learn too. It's not for it to come to them and them to realize they don't know what they're doing and you know stuff and you yell at them and it's your turn and, you know, we need to move on. What we do is, since we're a team, we coach each other and we do a tip, teach, tell. They might just need a little tip. You might need to give them a little more information, so you're teaching them. And this comes in handy more for once you're doing the structure a lot in content. I mean, you probably don't have them tip, teach, tell when they're robbining a superhero, but I see it a lot in our math fact practice. And first give a tip, they don't get it still, more detailed information, or last, it's okay to tell them if you tried a couple times and they're still like stuck, because they might be, you know, worried that they're not contributing to the team. And a team has different levels, a team has different abilities, but they help each other. And the, you know, the ones that are confused need the ones that will help give them tips to help them learn, and they, you know, will eventually, if everybody in the team is increasing their ability set, that's the purpose behind it. Okay, 2 minutes. So let's think about this. How would you use these sharing structures in your classroom? So if we could, do you want to practice a little round table? If you want to write even on the back of your handy dandy handouts I gave you, okay. You don't have to write on them. I have extras if you want to write on those. Okay, that was the last slide. You guys had awesome ideas. I was listening to how you would. Round robin, round table, rally robin, rally table. Use the cheat sheets. Hopefully this will increase participation among your little teams. I was telling Christy that those team mats come in handy, especially for the younger grades, because trying to figure out who goes first could take too much time and you want it to be quick. And if you're numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, you can have number 1 go first every time. Just move the mat so the person number 1 is different. That way the kids don't get confused by, if you say, okay, number 2's first today, reasonably a kindergartner would be like, okay, I'm number 4, when do I go? I'm not I'm not sure. So any questions?